All right, our next speaker is Art Leahy, and we apologize for putting in the book that you're the mayor of Palmdale, and we apologize to the mayor of Palmdale, who's also here. Slight typo there. Art Leahy is the CEO of Metrolink, and he was appointed to that position in April 2015. Prior to joining Metrolink, he served as Chief Executive Officer of the LA Metropolitan Transportation Authority. And we do want to thank Art for past, when you were the CEO, that you've been graciously welcomed us for our conference in your building right down the street. And we thank you for that. He's heading one of the nation's largest public works programs through Measure R, and that will literally change the urban landscape and shape the future of Los Angeles for generations to come. He was recently recognized by his peers in Metro magazine, a transit and motor coach publication, as being one of the country's most influential leaders in the transit industry. And with that, please welcome Art Leahy.
Well, good morning. I'm pleased to be here with you. It's a little upsetting to follow somebody from the San Francisco Bay region because, as you know, there are two proofs of the existence of Satan in our world. One is the New York Yankees, and the other is the San Francisco Giants. So, thankfully, they're coming back down to earth. Gosh, it's dark here.
Tilt it this way a little bit.
Okay. My comments will be brief and to the point, I hope. Let me comment briefly about Metrolink. Our ridership is about 45,000 a day, which doesn't sound like very much, but the trips are long. If we measure ridership in terms of passenger miles, Metrolink is the second busiest carrier in Southern California after only Metro, but for example, higher than Riverside and Orange County combined. We have the highest fare box return percent of cost borne by the user of any system in Southern California, 45%. Metro is about 24, Orange County is 23. So we perform very well financially, and as a consequence of this, as you would know, the subsidy per passenger mile is the lowest of any carrier in Southern California. It's a very good investment for the public dollar. For those of you who know Southern California, you'll know this. Almost on a one-for-one basis, a Metrolink rider is a car off the freeway. So it relieves the 5, which is terrible to drive, the 91, the 60, the 10, the Hollywood Freeway, the Ventura Freeway. All of those freeways move better today because of Metrolink. I want to comment a little bit about Metrolink as an organization. We've been in drift for a period of years for a variety of reasons, but we've done some really good things. We're the first commuter railroad in the nation to implemented positive train control. We implemented it some months ago. We don't have approval yet from the FRA on the safety plan, but we are running PTC today and has already helped us avoid a couple of accidents. We're moving to a mobile remote ticketing system, which will be the first in Southern California. I like to say that we're rushing headlong into the 1990s. But if you look at some of the other fare systems in Los Angeles, you'd be impressed at what we're going to be doing. We have new locomotives that we're buying, which are the cleanest in the world. They're still diesel, but they're far cleaner than anything else on the market today. They have higher horsepower. They get better mileage, better gas fuel mileage than what's existing today. So we're preparing for a future with longer trains, up steeper grades. So good things are happening. I do want to comment about Union Station. There's a real challenge there trying to figure out how to make Metrolink and Amtrak and high-speed rail all work together in a confined space. It's a little surprising to note, but if you think about it, almost every day trains leave Union Station. If you haven't seen it, by the way, you should walk over there and look at it before you leave today. Trains leave Union Station and they go to San Diego, New Orleans, Chicago, Seattle, Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, Palmdale, North Hollywood, soon Santa Monica, Long Beach, Pasadena, East LA. And on top of that, 1,000 buses a day. So that's the hub in Southern California that high-speed rail needs to come into. I do have a concern about the high-speed rail project, which we've supported at Metro and Metrolink for years now. But my concern is this. We have high-speed rail planning alone, and Metrolink planning alone, and then Amtrak doing the same thing. What we need to get to is a point of coordinated planning. We need to ask ourselves some important questions. if high-speed comes, and we should assume that it's going to happen, as Ron has been outlined here, but if that happened, what happens to the Amtrak service on the coast? What happens to the Amtrak service between downtown LA and Irvine? What happens to the Metrolink service? I don't know the answers, but we need to be thinking about how these things will work together in a coordinated fashion, as was amply described in the last two comments. Union Station is a very confined space. If we don't plan intelligently, if we don't plan in an integrated fashion, we're going to blow up the cost of the so-called run-through tracks, the script project, so high that we may lose track of that project, which would be very, very bad. I'll just describe it briefly in case you don't know. All the tracks at Union Station are stub-ended on the south end of the station. That means that the throat of the yard, which is narrow, has bi-directional travel. Trains come in and trains go out. If there's a derailment or an accident or whatever in that location, the entire station shuts down for a period of hours, and you can imagine what that does. The run-through tracks would basically the project would elevate the tracks, then have them pass over the freeway, and then there'd be a Y to the east a little bit by the LA River, which would then allow trains to go north or south. It increases the capacity of Union Station by about 40%, and that makes room for high-speed rail for Amtrak and for Metrolink. However, we need to work on this in a coordinated fashion. I'll comment just briefly on some of the really cool things that are happening. There's a High Desert Express that wants to come into Palmdale. They've asked Metrolink to work with them on an interim basis, providing service from the Palmdale area down into Union Station. Makes a great deal of sense. We're going to be having that dialogue. Same thing with the California High-Speed Rail Project. At Burbank Airport, the high-speed rail folks will have a station. It'll be a combined station with Metrolink. That's really good. Union Station, I've already commented on. Metro is looking at extending the Green Line down on the south side of Los Angeles over to the Norwalk Transit Station. That's critically important. That's a big opportunity. Metro is now working on a station on the Crenshaw line at a place called 96th and Aviation, which would allow for a connection with the People Mover into LAX. If the Green Line is extended to the Norwalk Station, that would mean there could be airport LAX access from Norwalk Station. So that becomes then a high-speed rail station and a Metrolink station. You can easily see what that does for people who live in Riverside or Orange County or places in LA County. So lots of good things are happening in California. I hope you come out and ride a Metrolink train. It's really a great way to get around. And so with that, I will close. Thank you for having me, and I hope you have a great day.